The final rays of evening sun filtered through the pines as Braxton Hale loaded the last of the camping gear into his truck. His muscles ached pleasantly from 3 days of hiking, fishing, and sleeping under the stars. The crisp Missouri air carried the first hint of autumn, a welcome change from summer's relentless humidity. "Next time we bringing better coffee," Trent said, tossing his duffel into the truck bed. "That instant crap tastes like dirt." "You said that last year," Braxton replied, slamming the tailgate shut. At 43, he still maintained a solid frame that had served him well through decades of physical labor. His weathered hands, callous from years of welding, closed around his keys. "And the year before," Trent laughed, scratching at his beard. "One of these days you'll listen." The drive back to Cedar Creek took just over an hour. Winding through stretches of yellowing farmland in small towns where nothing much ever changed. Braxton appreciated the predictability. He built his life around stability, a dependable job, as foreman at Mid-State Metal Fabrication. A modest home, he renovated with his own hands, and 20 years of marriage to Lorna. Their daughter Callie was the center of his world, a thoughtful 15-year-old who somehow managed to inherit his stubbornness along with her mother's quick wit. "You going straight home?" Trent asked as they approached the town limits. "Yeah, Lorna's probably been counting the minutes. You know how she gets when I'm gone." "Tell her, and Callie," I said. "Hey." Braxton pulled up to Trent's house. A small ranch-style home, not unlike his own. "See you Monday." As Trent grabbed his gear and headed inside, Braxton's phone buzzed. He frowned at the screen, 3 missed calls from Lorna, and one from a number he did not recognize. Before he could call back, the phone rang again. "Mr. Hale," the voice was unfamiliar. "This is Nurse Jenkins from Cedar Creek Memorial. Your daughter has been admitted to the emergency room." His blood turned to ice. "What happened? Is she okay?" "She's stable, but unconscious. Dr. Mendez is with her now. Sheriff Denton asked that you come directly to the hospital." Braxton barely remembered the drive. His mind raced through possibilities. A car accident, sudden illness, a fall. Callie had always been healthy. She was not reckless. None of it made sense. The hospital's fluorescent lights assaulted his eyes as he burst through the emergency entrance. At the desk, he managed to form the words, "My daughter Callie Hale." A nurse pointed him toward a hallway where a tall figure waited. Sheriff Miles Denton, still recognizable from their high school days, despite the badge and the extra 20 pounds. Miles had been 2 years ahead of Braxton, the kind of guy who remembered everyone's name and made a point to use it. "Brax," Miles said, his face grave. "Come with me." "What happened to my daughter?" Miles guided him down the corridor. "Let's talk in here first." He opened the door to a small consultation room. "I want to see Callie." "You will, but you need to prepare yourself." Miles gestured to a chair, but Braxton remained standing. "Callie was brought in about 4 hours ago. Unresponsive, with bruising to her face, arms, and torso." "What?" The word came out as barely a whisper. "Your wife says Callie fell down the stairs at school after hours." They were there for a parent-teacher meeting. Something in Miles' tone set off warning bells. "But you do not believe that?" "The school's closed today. Teacher in service. No meeting scheduled." Braxton's hands clenched into fists. "Where's Lorna?" "In the waiting area." "I'll take you to see Callie first." Miles led him to a dimly lit room. Through the observation window, Braxton saw his daughter as bright, fierce Callie lying motionless under stark white sheets. Her face was mottled with bruises, an oxygen tube in her nose, monitors beeping steadily beside her. His hands began to shake, not from fear, but from a fury so deep it threatened to consume him. "Who did this?" he asked, his voice dangerously soft. "That's what we need to find out." Dr. Mendez met Braxton outside Callie's room. She was a slight woman with intelligent eyes and an accent that suggested she'd grown up somewhere far from Missouri. "Mr. Hale, I'm Dr. Mendez. Your daughter has suffered a concussion and multiple contusions." We've run a toxicology screen which showed traces of a sedative in her system. Waiting on more detailed results. Sedative. Braxton's throat tightened. Why would she have a sedative in her system? That's unclear at this point. She has not regained consciousness, but her vitals are strong. The next 24 hours will tell us more. Lorna appeared at the end of the hallway. Her face streaked with tears that did not reach her eyes. Something about her appearance struck Braxton as off. Her hair and makeup were immaculate despite the circumstances. "Brax," she said, moving toward him with open arms. "Thank God you're here." He stepped back, almost imperceptibly. Her arms dropped to her sides. "What happened?" he asked. "It was awful. We were at the school talking with Mr. Finley about her science project. She went to use the bathroom and must have tripped on the stairs. I heard the crash and found her at the bottom." Dr. Mendez cleared her throat. "Mrs. Hale, as I mentioned earlier, Callie's injuries are not consistent with a fall downstairs." "What do you mean?" Lorna's voice rose slightly. "I saw her fall. The pattern of bruising suggests multiple impacts, not a single fall. And there's the matter of the sedative." "What sedative?" "Maybe she took something. Teenager's experiment." "You know that." Braxton watched his wife of 20 years, noting the tiny movements he'd learned to read over time. The way her right eye twitched slightly. How she shifted her weight from one foot to the other. "I want to see the full medical report," he said to Dr. Mendez, ignoring Lorna's protest. "Of course, I'll have my nurse bring it to you. You're welcome to sit with your daughter." Inside Callie's room, Braxton pulled a chair close to the bed. He took her hand gently, careful of the fore. Her fingers felt small and cold in his grasp. "I'm here, Cal," he whispered. "Dad's here now." He studied her face, the bruise blooming across her left cheekbone, the split in her lower lip, the dark circles under her eyes. Callie had always been a fighter. From the day she was born 2 months premature. The doctor had warned them she might not make it through the night. But Callie had other ideas. Lorna hovered in the doorway. "Do you want coffee?" "I was going to get some from the cafeteria." "No, Brax, I know you're upset. I need to read the medical report." "You go ahead." After Lorna left, Braxton spotted Callie's backpack in the corner. Her phone stuck out from the side pocket. Its screen cracked, but intact. On impulse, he checked it. No passcode. She must have disabled it recently. They had an agreement. He did not snoop, but she kept her phone unlocked in case of emergency. This definitely qualified as an emergency. He scrolled through her recent messages, finding nothing unusual until he reached a conversation with an unknown number. The most recent text sent Braxton's heart hammering against his ribs. He knows. "Mom said we'd be safe." The timestamp showed 10:43 a.m. That morning, several hours before Callie was brought to the hospital. Who knew what? And safe from home. A nurse arrived with a medical report. Braxton scanned it. His fears confirmed in clinical terms. Multiple contusions inconsistent with accidental fall. Possible blunt force trauma. Presence of benzodiazepine at concerning levels. Someone had hurt his daughter and drugged her. And his wife was lying about it. "You sure about this?" Trent asked, leaning against his truck in the hospital parking lot. The early morning sun cast long streaks across the asphalt. Braxton nodded, his eyes red-rimmed from a sleepless night in the hospital chair. "I need you to check something while I stay with Callie. Just tell me what you need." "Our credit card statements for the past 6 months. They my home office bottom right drawer. And Lorna's personal card statements if you can find them." "You think she's hiding something financial?" "I think she's hiding a lot of things." Trent scratched his beard. "What about the cops? Miles is a straight shooter. I need more before I go to him. Something does not add up. I'll call you when I've got them." Trent clapped a hand on Braxton's shoulder. "Hang in there, brother." Back in Callie's room, Braxton found his sister Odessa had arrived. At 38, She shared his dark hair and steady gaze, though hers held a perpetual hint of amusement that has lacked. "Where's Lorna?" she asked without preamble. "Went home to shower. Said she'd be back around noon." Odessa snorted. Convenient. She never bothered to hide her dislike for her sister-in-law. "How's our girl doing?" "No change." Braxton rubbed his face. "Dessa, did Callie ever say anything to you about problems at home?" "No, but she's been quieter lately. I figured it was normal teenage stuff." She studied him. "What are not you telling me?" He showed her the text message and the medical report. "That lying snake," Odessa hissed. "I always knew she was trouble." "It's not proof of anything." "Come on, Brax. You know Lorna better than anyone. She's always been slippery when it comes to the truth." He could not argue. There had been small deceits over the years, money spent on clothes hidden in the back of the closet. Weekends with girlfriends that could not be verified. Convenient forgetfulness when it came to promises made. Trent mentioned Lorna's been going out more. Girls' nights. 3 times in the last 2 weeks, Braxton confirmed. Said she was meeting her work friends. Since when does Lorna have work friends? She can barely stand her co-workers. His phone buzzed with a text from Trent. "Found something. Coming back now." 30 minutes later, they huddled in the hospital cafeteria. Trent spread credit card statements across the table. "Look at these charges," he said, pointing to several highlighted lines. "Hotel rooms in Jefferson City. Restaurants you two never go to. In this," he turned a page, "jewelry store in Columbia. Did you give you anything from Radiance Fine Jewels?" "No, there's more." Trent said, "I swung by your place to grab some clothes for you. Figured you'd be here a while. I noticed Lorna's car in the garage and I checked it. Found these in her glove compartment." He placed a set of keys on the table. A small tag hung from the ring, bearing a single word. "Millhouse." Braxton stared at the keys. Pieces starting to fit together in a pattern he did not want to see. "I need you to find out what this is." "Already did." Trent said, "It's an address. Rental property on the east side of town. Millhouse Lane." Something cold and determined settled in Braxton's chest. "I want to know who's paying the rent." Rain pelted the windshield as Braxton and Trent sat parked across from 1423 Millhouse Lane. The house was small and unremarkable, a single-story rental with beige siding and white trim. The kind of place no one would look at twice. "You sure about this?" Trent asked, not for the first time that Braxton's hands gripped the steering wheel. "I need to know." They've been watching for nearly an hour when a silver sedan pulled into the driveway. Braxton's breath caught as Lorna stepped out wearing a dress he'd never seen before. She hurried through the rain toward the front door. 10 minutes later, another car arrived, a black SUV with tinted windows. A man emerged, tall and lean, perhaps in his mid-30s. He carried a bottle of wine and a small package wrapped in silver paper. "Know him?" Trent asked. "No." Braxton watched as the stranger let himself in without knocking through the front window. He could see Lorna greet him with a kiss that left no doubt about their relationship. "Damn, Brax. I'm sorry." Braxton's face remained impassive, but something shifted in his eyes. "I need to see inside that house." "Whoa, hold on. That's breaking and entering." "Not if I have a key." They waited until both cars left 3 hours later. Lorna and the mysteryman departed separately, but not before embracing in the doorway, oblivious to the steady rain or the neighbor walking her dog past the house. "That's Mrs. Keller from 3 doors down," Trent noted. "Biggest gossip in Cedar Creek." "Good," Braxton said quietly. "Let her talk." Once the street was clear, they approached the house. The key turned smoothly in the lock. Inside, Braxton found a modestly furnished living room. 2 wine glasses sat on the coffee table alongside the empty bottle. In the kitchen, dishes were stacked neatly in the drying rack, evidence of a shared meal. "Brax, we should not stay long," Trent warned from the doorway. "Check the bedroom. Look for anything with a name." The master bedroom revealed more. A framed photo on a nightstand showed Lorna and the mystery men at some lakeside retreat. Callie stood beside them. Her smile tight and uncomfortable that Braxton's stomach twisted. His daughter had known. Had been brought here, made complicit in this deception but on the dresser. He found mail addressed to Leon Godfrey. Bill's advertisements. Nothing personal except for a birthday card signed Forever Your Cell. The closet contained women's clothes Lorna's size. New with tags still attached. A jewelry box held pieces he'd never seen or wear. In the bathroom, duplicate toiletries suggested frequent overnight stays. But it was the desk in the spare bedroom that provided the most damning evidence. A leather journal contained entries in Lorna's handwriting detailing grievances against Brax, mostly fabricated or grossly exaggerated. He screamed at Callie for breaking curfew. One entry read, "Terrorized her for hours. This is why we need to get away." Another lawyer says we need documented incidents. Medical records would be best. Video evidence ideal. And finally Leon says once we free, we file for the insurance enough to start over somewhere warm. Braxton's life insurance policy was worth $750,000. Jesus. Trent whispered, reading over his shoulder. They were setting you up. Take pictures of everything. Braxton instructed, his voice terrifyingly calm. Every page, every room. Then we leave. As they prepared to exit, Braxton spotted a small desk calendar. Next Tuesday was circled in red with a note, seized last day. Today was Thursday. Whatever they've been planning for Callie, it had gone wrong and his daughter was paying the price. Braxton maintained his vigil at Callie's bedside for the next 2 days, leaving only when necessary. Lorna made appearances, always perfectly dressed, always with a ready explanation for where she'd been. He watched her with new eyes, seeing the performance behind every gesture that on Saturday morning as he dozed in the hospital chair. A small sound pulled him awake. Callie's eyes fluttered open, confusion clouding her features. "Dad," her voice was raspy from disuse. "I'm here, Cal." He moved to her side, hitting the call button for the nurse. "You in hospital. You safe." She tried to sit up, wincing in pain. "What happened?" Before he could answer, the room filled with medical staff. Nurse Tanya checked vitals while Dr. Mendez performed a neurological exam. "Looking good, Callie," the doctor said. "You had us worried. Do you remember what happened?" Callie's eyes darted to her father, then away. "Not really. It's fuzzy. That's normal with concussion. It might come back, or it might not." Dr. Mendez made notes in the chart. "We'll run some tests now that you awake, but things look promising." After they left, Braxton sat on the edge of the bed. "Callie, I need you to tell me what happened. The truth." She picked at the blanket, avoiding his gaze. "Is Mom here?" "No. It's just us." Tears filled her eyes. "I did not want to lie to you. She made me promise." "Who?" "Your mother." Callie nodded, a tear spilling down her cheek. "She said you would not understand. That you'd be angry." "I'm not angry with you, Cal." He took her hand. "I just need to know what happened." She's been seeing someone. Leon. He's younger than her, works for some trucking company. She said she was in love with him. Braxton kept his expression neutral, letting her continue. "At first, it was just meetings. Then she started taking me along sometimes. Said it would look less suspicious if we were together. I hated it, but she said if I told you, it would destroy our family." "The house on Millhouse Lane." Her eyes widened. "You know about that?" "I know enough." "What happened the day you got hurt?" Callie's face crumpled. "They were talking about leaving. Moving to Florida with Leon. Mom said they'd get custody because she trailed off. Because they could prove you were abusive." The words came out of rush. "She told me to remember times you've been strict with me, like when you grounded me for skipping class. Or when you yelled after I stayed out past curfew. She wanted me to exaggerate. Say you hit me. Braxton's jaw clenched. But he kept his voice even. Did she hurt you, Callie? No. Well, not directly. I overheard them talking. Leon asked what would happen to your life insurance if something happened to you. Mom said it would all go to her. They did not know I was listening. And then I told her I would not help them lie about you. That I tell everyone the truth. Callie's voice shook. She got really mad. Said I was ungrateful. That night, we went to the house again. Leon was not there. She gave me some juice that tasted funny. I thought maybe it had gone bad. After that, I do not remember anything until waking up here. Sheriff Miles appeared in the doorway. Sounds like I arrived at the right time. Mind if I come in? Braxton looked at his daughter. Are you up for answering some questions? Callie nodded, straightening her shoulders. I want to tell the truth. Miles pulled up a chair, notebook in hand. Let's start from the beginning. The Cedar Creek Public Library provided the privacy Braxton needed. At a back table, he met with Odessa Trent and Sheriff Miles while Callie remained in the hospital under the watch of a deputy. Lorna had been told Callie was still unconscious and necessary deception to buy time. The toxicology report confirms benzodiazepines in Callie's system. Miles said, keeping his voice low, specifically a prescription sleep aid. We found a prescription bottle and Lorna's purse made out to her filled last week. In the bruises, Braxton asked, consistent with Callie being unconscious when they were inflicted. Someone wanted it to look like she'd been beaten, not fallen. Odessa's face darkened. That woman tried to frame her own husband for abusing their child. We need more than we have now for criminal charges. Miles cautioned. The photos from the Millhouse property help establish the affair, but not the intent to harm Callie or set up Braxton. What about the journal? Trent asked. Inadmissible, you did not have legal right to enter the property. Braxton rubbed his temples. So we have nothing. I did not say that. Miles leaned forward. We can build a case, but we need to be smart. First, I suggest getting Callie's official statement on record. Second, I have a buddy in the financial crimes unit who can look into Leon Godfrey discreetly. I checked him out, Trent added. He works for Midwest Freight Logistics in their accounting department. Company's been under investigation for payroll irregularities. That's something we can use. Miles nodded. Third, we need more background on Lorna. I might be able to help with that. Odessa said, Lorna's Aunt Eula still lives in Springfield. They have not spoken in years, but Eula was at your wedding, Brax. Remember how Lorna did not want to invite her vaguely? Something about family disagreements. I always got the impression Eula knew things Lorna did not want shared. Might be worth a conversation. One more thing. Miles said, you need to protect yourself legally, Braxton, get a good attorney, rewrite your will, secure your assets. I know someone Odessa offered. Anthony Weems handled my divorce last year. He's a shark. Braxton nodded, a plan forming. Let's divide and conquer. Trent, keep digging on Leon. Dessa, contact Eula. Miles, run the financials. See if you can connect Leon to any of those credit card charges. I'll handle the legal end. What about Lorna? Trent asked. For now, we let her think she's in control. I'll go home, act like I'm processing Callie's accident. Let her believe we re-buying her story. Can you do that? Odessa looked skeptical. After what she's done, I can do whatever it takes to protect my daughter, Braxton said, his voice steel, and to make sure Lorna never hurts anyone again. Over the next week, Braxton executed his plan with methodical precision. He sold a small piece of land he inherited from his father, gathering liquid funds beyond Lorna's reach. He removed her as beneficiary from his life insurance, placing everything in a trust for Callie with Odessa as trustee. He documented every unusual expense, every unexplained absence, building a paper trail of Lorna's deceptions to Odessa's conversation with Eula Blake proved enlightening. This is not the first time Lorna's pulled something like this, she reported. In college, she accused a boyfriend of stalking and threats when he caught her cheating. Eula says she nearly ruined the boy's life. He was expelled, almost faced criminal charges before another student came forward with evidence Lorna had lied. Any documentation from that incident? Miles asked, Eula's sending what she has. Campus police reports, newspaper clippings, says Lorna's mother helped cover it up, paid the boy's family to keep quiet and drop counter charges. Meanwhile, Trent's investigation into Leon Godfrey turned up more red flags. Guy's got 3 different social security numbers he uses, depending on where he's applying for credit. His real name, Leonard Goodwin, has a history of dating recently divorced women with assets. At Callie's request, Braxton arranged for her to stay with Odessa after her release from the hospital. Just until things settle, he assured her. You focus on getting better. What about Mom? Callie asked, her eyes troubled. Your mom has made some bad choices. There will be consequences for those choices. Will you ever forgive her? Braxton looked at his daughter so young, yet forced to confront such ugly truths. Some things not be forgiven, Cal. But that's my burden, not yours. 2 weeks after Callie's hospitalization, Braxton received the call he'd been waiting for. Miles' contact and financial crimes had enough to move on Leon. Now it was time to spring the trap. Lorna filed for divorce on a Tuesday, exactly 1 month after Callie's hospitalization. Braxton received the papers while at work, a calculated move designed to humiliate him in front of his employees or she'd gone with the narrative they expected. Emotional abuse, controlling behavior, neglect. The filing included a request for emergency custody of Callie, claiming Braxton had a history of outbursts that made him an unsafe parent. He accepted the papers calmly, returned his office, and made a single phone call. It's time, he told Anthony Weems. She's made her move. The law offices of Weems and Associates occupied the top floor of the tallest building in Cedar Creek, 3 stories of red brick, that housed the town's most prestigious firms. Anthony Weems was a compact man with piercing eyes and a reputation for ruthlessness in family court. They miscalculated. Weems said, reviewing the divorce filing. These allegations are provable falsehoods. We have hospital records directly contradicting her claims about Callie's injuries, plus Callie's sworn statement. Judge Delaney does not look kindly on perjury in his courtroom. What about emergency custody? We counter with our own petition. Sheriff Denton's incident report regarding the benzodiazepines in Callie's system should be enough to halt any custody claim by your wife. The initial hearing was set for the following week. As expected, Lorna arrived perfectly co-fed and teary-eyed, playing the role of battered wife to perfection. Her attorney, a severe woman named Patricia Holt, presented a case built on carefully curated half-truths. Your Honor, Mrs. Hale fears for her safety and that of her daughter. Mr. Hale has demonstrated increasing instability in a pattern of controlling behavior that culminated in the physical abuse of their 15-year-old child. Weems rose, unruffled. Your Honor, we categorically deny these false allegations and are prepared to demonstrate that Mrs. Hale has engaged in a calculated campaign to defame my client, endanger their daughter, and commit insurance fraud. Judge Delaney, a gray-haired veteran of the bench, peered over his glasses. Those are serious counter-allegations. Counselor, proceed. Over the next hour, Weems methodically dismantled Lorna's narrative. He presented the hospital records showing sedatives in Callie's system. He introduced Sheriff Denton's investigation, including photographic evidence of the Millhouse Lane property. Finally, he called Callie herself to testify. She entered the courtroom with her head high, though her hands trembled slightly. Lorna's face drained of color at the sight of her daughter. Callie, can you tell the court what happened on the day you were hospitalized? Weems asked gently. My mother gave me juice with crushed sleeping pills in it. When I passed out, she or her boyfriend Leon hurt me to make it look like my dad had done it. And why would she do that? They wanted custody of me and Dad's life insurance money. They were planning to move to Florida. Had your father ever hurt you? Never. Dad's strict sometimes, but he's always fair. He's never hit me or anything like that. Lorna half rose from her seat. She's lying. Brax, tell them. Mrs. Hale, Judge Delaney warned, you'll have your chance to speak. When her turn came, Lorna's testimony crumbled under Weems' cross-examination. He produced the credit card statements showing hotel charges, the jewelry purchases, the receipts from restaurants on nights she claimed to be working late. "Mrs. Hale, do you recognize this journal?" Weems asked, presenting the leather-bound book from the Millhouse property. Lorna's attorney objected immediately. "Your Honor, if this was obtained through a legal entry, it was not." Weems countered smoothly. "This journal was recovered by Sheriff Denton's deputies during the execution of a legal search warrant of the Millhouse Lane property following evidence of potential criminal conspiracy." The journal was admitted. With each damning entry read aloud, Lorna seemed to shrink in her chair. The final blow came when Weems produced Eula Blake's documentation of Lorna's college incident. "Your Honor, this establishes a pattern of behavior spanning decades. Mrs. Hale has repeatedly manufactured allegations against men who discovered her deceptions." Judge Delaney's ruling was swift. Braxton received temporary full custody of Callie with supervised visitation for Lorna pending the outcome of the criminal investigation. All marital assets were frozen. A restraining order was issued, barring Lorna from contacting Braxton or Callie outside of court-approved channels. As they left the courtroom, Braxton caught Lorna's eye. Her face contorted with fury and something else, fear. For the first time, she was facing consequences she could not manipulate her way out of. "This is not over," she hissed. "You rewrite." He replied quietly. "It's just beginning." 3 weeks after the custody hearing, Braxton received a call from Miles. "They got Leon this morning." Federal agents picked him up at Midwest Freight. Charges include wire fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy to commit insurance fraud. "Will it stick?" "Oh, it'll stick. They found evidence he's been siphoning funds from the company payroll for years. And get this, they found documents related to your life insurance policy in his apartment. Detailed payout scenarios, including one for accidental death." A chill ran through Braxton. "They were planning to kill me." "Looks that way." "Leon's already talking. Try cut a deal. Says it was all Lorna's idea." "Is that enough to charge her?" "County prosecutor thinks so. They preparing to bring her in now." The news of Leon Godfrey's arrest hit the local paper the next day. By evening, everyone in Cedar Creek knew that Lorna Hale's boyfriend had been caught in a federal fraud investigation. The story grew when he implicated her in a conspiracy targeting her husband. Lorna was arrested at her sister's house in Jefferson City, where she'd been staying since the custody hearing. The charges included conspiracy to commit fraud, child endangerment, and attempted insurance fraud. The evidence from Leon's cooperation was damning. Braxton watched the news coverage with Callie in Odessa, feeling strangely hollow as Lorna was led into the courthouse in handcuffs. "You okay, Dad?" Callie asked, leaning against his shoulder. "I will be. We both will." The trial lasted 2 weeks. Lorna maintained her innocence, claiming Leon had manipulated her. But the evidence told a different story, from the journal entries to the prescription sleep aids to the recorded phone calls Leon had made from jail, in which Lorna incriminated herself further. When a verdict came guilty, on all counts, Lorna finally broke. She screamed accusations across the courtroom, her carefully constructed facade crumbling completely. "You did this," she shouted at Braxton. "You turned everyone against me." As the bailiffs led her away, Braxton felt no satisfaction, only a deep weariness. 20 years of his life had been built on a foundation of lies. Now he had to create something new from the wreckage point. 6 months later, Braxton sat on his porch watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and purple. Callie was inside doing homework, her recovery progressing steadily. She started therapy, working through the betrayal and manipulation she experienced. Some days were harder than others, but she was resilient, stronger than Braxton had realized. The sound of tires on gravel announced visitors. Trent's truck pulled up, followed by Miles' SUV. The men joined Braxton on the porch, settling into the chairs he'd built over the winter. Wordlessly, he passed each a glass of whiskey from the bottle Odessa had given him for his birthday. "Heard from the prosecutor today," Miles said after a comfortable silence. Lorna's appeal was denied. She'll serve the full sentence. 8 years for conspiracy, fraud, an endangerment minor. Leon had received 12 for his part in the financial crimes. Callie doing okay with all this? Trent asked, better every day. She's talking about college now. Thinking pre-law, like her uncle, Miles chuckled, referring to Odessa's husband who practiced in St. Louis. She'd be good at it. Always could argue her point. They watched as the last light faded from the sky. Stars appearing one by one. What about you, Brax? Trent asked, you still volunteering at that youth center? Braxton nodded twice a week, teaching welding to kids who need a trade. It helps. After Lorna's conviction, he channeled his anger into something constructive, minoring teens for broken homes, showing them there were paths forward beyond their circumstances. You ever think about what could have happened? Miles asked if Callie had not overheard them that night. Every day, Braxton took a sip of whiskey, feeling the burn in his throat. But dwelling on it does not help anyone, least of all Callie. The conversation drifted to other topics: Trent's new girlfriend, Miles' campaign for re-election, the unseasonably warm spring. As the evening deepened, Braxton felt something like peace settle over him. Not happiness, exactly, but a sense that he and Callie would be okay. When the others prepared to leave, Braxton walked them to their vehicles. You know what I told Callie when she asked if I hated her mother? He said, leaning against Trent's truck. What's that? Trent asked. I did not burn her world down. Braxton said, his voice steady in the darkness. I just handed her the matches and watched her light it herself. The truth of it rang in the night air. Lorna had manufactured her own downfall through years of deception and manipulation. In the end, all Braxton had done was refuse to burn alongside her. As his friends drove away, he returned to the porch and looked up at the stars' countless points of light in the vast darkness. Somewhere inside, Callie laughed at something on her phone. The sound carried through the open window, reminding him of what remained after the fire. The truth, his daughter, and the chance to build something on is from the ashes.